Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 39-year-old with chippy tits from Cardiff, Wales. He is one of the brightest shooting stars in the equipment managing world. He is currently the equipment manager for the Graz 99ers. He is a former part-time body sculptor. He has won 2 Challenge Cups, 2 league titles, 1 playoff title, and he is one half of the greatest pregame speaking tag team of all time. Dease, or some people might know him as David Owen. But Dease, how are you today, big guy?
I am awesome, Wally. All the better for seeing you, old buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, man. Couldn't be better catching up with beauties like you. I've been waiting all week for this.
That tag team. There's a lot of stories about that tag team, and I still have scars.
So that is how I start the episode, is how we know each other, which we originally would have met when you became the equipment manager for the Cardiff Devils, my first year with the Cardiff Devils, but you weren't the equipment manager at the start of that season, right?
No, that's right. I was working in the shop with Corky, just hanging out, drinking coffee, eating a lot, and just sharpening skates and helping people in the pro shop, really.
Right. So that's like selling all the merchandise for the type.
Yeah, the merch, the hockey equipment to the kids and stuff. So it was cool. We had a lot of fun.
And then Todd approached you?
Well, my buddy Mark was actually the equipment guy for the team, but he went on vacation for 2 weeks. So he got me to cover for him. And I had no intention of taking his job or anything. And then he came back after 2 weeks. And 2 days later, Todd just walks into the shop with me and Corky and he says, you're the equipment manager now, Dease. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, you're going to be our equipment guy. I'm like, yeah. So I got to have a conversation with the family about that because it's not what I signed up for here. And I went back, and then the rest is history. Here I am, went from Cardiff to Manchester, and then it's my second season, just finished my second season in Graz. It's insane.
Yeah, that's quite the story for a guy that was just working, selling, sharpening skates and selling the merchandise to I guess it's like pro hockey. Someone gave you the opportunity by going on vacation, kind of like when a player gets hurt and somebody else gets an opportunity, right?
Just got the call.
Yeah, and you were ready. And I remember it because I remember Todd said, you fit our culture and what type of personality we were looking for, which was like a fun, happy to be around, chirping everybody. And that was the type of personality that team needed as an equipment manager. And I completely agree.
Yeah, there was a lot of chirping, hell of a lot of chirping that season. And that was the most fun year ever, was that first season. And, like you said on previous pods, it was just crazy, but it worked. That's it.
Yeah. So then that's the first year where I'm actually playing, doing school. And I guess I played pretty well that year, but then the next year I get hurt. And that's when I think our relationship really went to another level, because we started doing the pregame speeches together after I was injured for the rest of my career.
Yeah, it got a little crazy. I think the plan all came about was we used to sit in the locker room while the guys were practicing, and we cook bacon in the microwave and then bagels in that toaster, and we'd eat bacon and bagels. And then Lodo would come in and start screaming that the place stunk and he could smell it on the ice. And we're like, yeah, we got to eat. It's like, this place stinks of cooking grease and bacon. Like, yeah, but we got to eat, Lodo. It's like, what the fuck?
Jeez, F-bombs, Dease. That's aggressive. Come on.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, but I remember how it started was you and Lordo were doing pregame speeches, and Lordo is obviously so intense, and he would try and do something funny with you before the game to try and loosen us up. But being funny, just didn't like come natural to Lordo, and being like funny before the game didn't come natural. So I came up with the idea. I said to Lordo, I said, well, you're doing this stuff with Dease. I've kind of lost my purpose and my spot on the team. I was the power play coach at that point, or was helping. And I was doing, watching the power play during the games and coming up with adjustments. But other than that, I didn't have a big part, and I wanted to help win because I was staying in Cardiff. So I said, why don't I help Dease? Why don't you give me a try? And I think the very first time I hid in the closet at the other end of the BBT room, right? And then you came in as something, and they were like, what's the deal here? Like, where's the pre? Or they thought you were going to come in the door and nobody came in, right?
Yeah, that's it. I think I walked in the door and just stood there, and everyone's like, why has he got clothes on? Why is there no crazy music? Why is he not dancing?
And it was like there was no pregame speech at all, right? And then all of a sudden I came out of the storage closet dressed as I was wearing I was wearing a white wig, the Thor head, and I had the hammer Pigs had given Colby for his birthday. And then I came out and I told Richie we were going to give them all of Thor's hammer, and I believe they were going to like it, right?
And I'm pretty sure they liked it.
And that's how the magical run of us being tag team pregame speakers started. Was I remember starting 9-0.
Yeah, we were hot. We were real hot. And then it got to the stage where we had Lisa shopping for body paint for us on a weekly basis, so we could spray paint you different colors. I remember the Hulk. I still got a picture of the Hulk.
Yeah, I got some of the pictures too.
And Captain America. That was difficult when we had to do the Captain America logo on the chest in a warm-up.
So. Well, you were very good at spray painting. It was very interesting in the BBT there. I guess, why don't you explain what would happen when the guys would go for warm-up?
So guys would go for warm-up, and then you'd quickly appear, and we'd be in the shower where I would have had you like either you come in with your shopping bag full of goodies and stuff that Lisa and you had put together, or me and you had been over to Toys R Us with our little budget and built something. And then you'd have to gear down. We get the spray paint out, the body paint, and we gear you up. Let's just be honest. And you were flat naked, and I had to spray you in all intimate areas. And I remember Sheila, the team physio lady. She walked in the shower room once as I'm on my knees going, "Lift it up, Wally. Move that thing to the left." And she just stood there, looked at us both, and was like, she didn't need to say anything. It just was a case of what the, and she just walked out. And I'm like, you don't need to see this.
That was when you probably would have been spray painting me green to be the Hulk, right?
Yeah, I think that was the green one. Lift that thing up a little bit, Wally. Let's get a full coverage here.
I remember Lordo saying to me, because I was running out of ideas, and Colby's he was rated a superhero, so he had all he got like all the masks for a birthday or something.
Everyone.
But like the Captain America shield I used, I remember Carl Hudson's wife had made out a paper mache for his cake for his birthday or something, and it was incredible.
Yeah, and we hijacked it.
Yeah, we used that for a lot of weird stuff, eh?
A lot of weird stuff.
Well, I guess after this is going to be the episode after I release the one with my grandma. So at least hopefully people realize how wholesome I can be too. But we were just trying to get the boys going, right?
Well, we got them going. We were hot.
Well, and once you win doing that one time, like it just snowballs, right? In the hockey world.
And you got to keep it going.
Okay.
You got to keep it going, and it went wild. It did get a little wild sometimes.
Well, the first time I ever lost a game as a pregame speaker because I was running out of ideas, but I also wanted this memory for one time in my life was you spray painted me red. Do you remember who the special guest was?
Colby.
Colby.
Colby
Yeah.
came in too, and I'm just like, Wally, I don't think you can bring him in. Like he's gonna be scarred for life.
I remember because the guys would all be waiting for me or you to jump out from somewhere dressed as something, and then instead of me that came through the door, it was Colby dressed as Hulk, and he gave a roar, and the whole team went nuts as a 3-year-old came in the room and gave a roar, and then I remember him getting a little nervous and being like, oh, and they started going nuts. And then he went around the room, high-fived every guy in the team, and then they went out for a professional hockey game. And that was just a great memory to have with my son, I tell you.
Insane. Just insane.
Yeah, there's not many teams in the hockey world, or coaches for that matter, like Lordo, that would let a guy do something like that. And I got to do a pregame speech. My son got to do the pregame speech as a 3-year-old dressed as Hulk.
It was I remember it. It was some crazy times.
Okay, well, I got it written down later that you can try and think of it late if you can as we go. But I want your favorite one of all the pregame speeches once we get there. Okay, once we get there, once we get to the year in Cardiff, because I have my favorites. I'd like to hear your favorite because there was a lot of weird stuff that went on that year. So that's how we know each other. We are the best tag team pregame speakers of all time and probably have the best winning percentage ever. But then my next thing we'll get into later, I guess, because the other reason I said we know each other is apparently I'm your guy for references, but we'll talk about that later. So where did you grow up and how did you get into hockey?
Well, Cardiff, born and raised, born and bred, and when I started skating around 7. I used to fly around. I started playing hockey around 8, 9 years old, just street hockey so much.
Did you say you were flying around?
Yeah, I was
7. I've seen you skate, Dease. You weren't flying around.
Yeah, at 7 I was.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Puberty probably hit you like a truck then, eh?
Yeah, And
sorry, go ahead. You were flying around. Go ahead. You're flying around.
Yeah, I was flying around, and then buddy of mine at school, he was playing for the Junior Devils, and so I was interested, and I managed to get a load of equipment together, secondhand horrific equipment that just stunk, and I went to the open trials one day for the junior team, and the rest is history, really. I just played my whole junior career in Cardiff, won a couple of trophies. We were undefeated one year, national champions, no big deal, just kind of saying,
So national champions, are you talking like of Wales?
No, of UK.
I was going to say, because there's only one rink there.
There's one up in Dease, North Wales, but no, we played against no, we didn't play Scottish teams. It was just English back then. So we were the English champions as such.
Okay.
But that was 16. So Myers, he was on the team with me then. I'm trying to think who else was there. We played against Richie. I'm pretty sure Richie was playing against us when he was in Swindon. So we played against a few old guys, and then Jonathan Phillips, who's captain of Sheffield and has been forever. Phil Hill, who played Cardiff and Sheffield. So yeah, and then when I got to 18, I played pro for the Devils for a little bit. I wouldn't call it pro. I was just a plugger, sat on the bench, go out, skate, hit, do whatever.
Did you say you played for the Devils?
Yes.
The elite prospects had nothing about that.
Yeah, elite prospects is not great, and neither were my stats. I'm not going to lie about that.
So you did play professional for the Devils?
I wouldn't say it was professional. I played more like, here's a few bucks, have a nice day. I still had a day job while I was studying to be a financial advisor. But yeah,
Uh,
I played a season or two.
is that right? Okay. I went to your elite prospects. It said for years old, it was a dash from Wales, but it had a couple leagues in uh,
Yeah,
that I wasn't sure of, but it never said like Cardiff Devils. So okay.
I'm on there. I'm on there.
We're gonna have to
I was
see some
there.
game footage of this.
Wally, I'm old. I think game footage is in like
I'm just
black and
kidding.
white, really grainy. I don't think there's game footage.
I'm just
Actually, Fanny was on the team with me then.
okay. Well, no, I believe you. I've just seen you do the shootouts with your knee brace on and
Yeah,
the barrel out, and you're coming in trying to dangle, and it's like, holy moly.
I almost killed Bouncy that time.
Yeah, when you
Toe
try it,
pick.
but the equipment manager toe picks it to your starting goalie.
It was like, it's not good. And then when was it? It was before a big game. Lordo says, "Hey, I want you to come out and do shootout with the boys on a Friday." And I'm like, "Remember what happened last time? I almost killed Bouncy." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I know. I just wanted to liven it up a bit." So I came out in just a thin tiny little jock strap and did shootout.
Oh yeah, just in a jock strap. That was it, eh?
I remember there was some serious shrinkage due to cold, and I haven't got the most to start with anyway. So
Yeah, it's definitely because it was cold for sure.
yeah, cold, real cold.
Yeah. Well, were you hot in the shootout?
No, I'm never hot in a shootout. Just dump it in a corner.
Oh,
No, I
but
thought it was dump and change, same as every shit.
man. Okay, we'll get into that year in Cardiff, because there's so much stuff that happened that year that yourself and I have just fantastic memories of. But it was also the second year. But so that's where you got into hockey. You played for the Devils, but I got here. So obviously you said you had a day job and you're working to become a financial advisor. So then you obviously the way I always explain it to people is you kind of play hockey till the age like you're good enough to play it to, because there's a certain age where whatever it is, if you're 30 years old and you're not making enough in the elite league, or if you're 35 and you're in Germany, whatever age it is where you just decide this isn't enough anymore and I have to figure out what's next. What age was that for you? And then you did get into the real world for a while, I remember.
I did a fair old stint in the real world. It was about 22, 23. I'd had two knee surgeries. I realized that I was never going anywhere and I sucked basically. And I was a beauty, fourth line plugger, just hanging out, good dressing room guy, good on the stereo, and I
All
just
you can
realized
ask for.
that's all you need, And I always brought the beers. As long as you always bring the beers, you'll always have friends. But yeah, I just realized, hey, I need to go get a real job and make real money, which is what I did for a few years. And then I had my kids and I moved into sales. I went away from finance and I was into sales, and I was earning great money, but the stress levels were up here. And obviously with 3 kids, I had no sleep and no, I just missed, you can't go into an office and speak to a guy and say, hey, I'm trying to sell you this product and that product, and hey, nice fucking guts you got there, buddy. You can't chirp people and stuff. And I had to wear a suit every day. I had to shave every day. I had to wear my teeth. I just snapped one day and said, screw it. And then I went back, and luckily Corky said, do I want to come work for him? Money wasn't great, but money, I figured out in life, money isn't everything. And I just had a blast and did that for a year, maybe a year and a half. And then, like I said, Todd came in and said, you're the equipment guy. And I'm like, what? So yeah, the real world sucks. Stay as far away from it as possible is my advice.
Well, yeah, okay. I can't say the same. I do enjoy my job now, but my job now is kind of like I'm kind of like managing a hockey team, but or in the players. I'm kind of like the coach of we just don't play hockey. So it's not that bad. But okay, where was I? Because the real world. So you were a financial advisor. People were giving you their money to literally, really?
Yep. People were
But you
trusting
had
me.
you had to have been wearing your teeth then, eh?
Yeah, every day. Every day I had a shave every day. I had to have a nice haircut. I couldn't turn up in shorts and flip-flops every day like I do now. But yeah, I specialized in what's called equity release, which is a lifetime mortgage. Basically, the bank buys a house off you that you've worked for your whole life and paid for. Say your house is worth 500,000, the bank buy it off you for 300K. You live it in the rest of your life. We give you 300K. When you die, house is ours, and we sell it for 500K. Yeah, I had a lot of people's kids calling me, going, "You're an asshole. You've robbed my mum of this money." And I'm like, "Hey, your mum didn't have any money, so she came to me, not the other way around." And I explained all the risks. But yeah, it gets stressful, and it's a lot of trust people are putting in you with their money. And I'm not good with money myself. So yeah.
Well, you know what? For yourself, it doesn't sound like the real world was that fun. So let's not talk about it anymore. Let's talk about the hockey side of you, because obviously that was a side gig for you that you tried to do it. You tried to join the real world, but that's just not you. And I've been around your mouth. I've been around your foul language, which you've been very good so far. So no, yeah, you're doing very well so far. But like, you do get back into the hockey world, which it sounds like realistically, it kind of sounds like fate, and that you were just fate brought you to be an equipment manager, because you are, in my opinion, the best equipment manager I ever had. Because there's some strange ones out there. There's some beauties out there. There's every different walk of life being an equipment manager. Is there not?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, one guy in this league here, what are you doing with your headset? Now you can't hear me. Put your headset back on.
Sorry,
So,
sorry, I couldn't hear you. There's something dangling from the mouthpiece.
spider probably, or your own draw. Yeah, there's one guy in the league here, Hansi. He's an absolute beauty, and he's the equipment guy for Innsbruck. And every game, he is like fully clean shaven, well groomed, and he wears a shirt and tie and trousers on the bench to be the equipment guy. And then there's me, who's stood around in t-shirt, shorts, and flip flops, and a baseball cap. And I'm like, "What's up, bud?" And it's just crazy, the guys that you meet in this job. And then you meet other guys who make me look like I'm dressed presentably, because they just look like they've crawled out of a cave. That's the beauty of this job, is you never know who or what you're going to meet, what's going to walk through the door every year. It's awesome. That's what I live for.
What's the relationships like amongst equipment guys? Because I guess we got that. We already talked about how you got into becoming an equipment manager. So, um, like some of the things I have written down, but are like the crazy hour stuff. But now that we're talking about it, I'm more interested in the relationship between equipment managers, because there's got to be a lot of times where you guys have to help each other between the two teams.
For sure. I mean, I spoke to Merds just yesterday, who's now the equipment guy in Cardiff. Now he's retired from playing. He was asking me for a little help on something. But there's always a time when you turn up at a rink and you go, "Oh, I forgot something." And you have to scoot over to the other dressing room and go, "Hey, bud, I know this is like a real pain in the ass, but I forgot shower gel." Or one guy turned up in Cardiff one game when we were in the tent, and he said, "Hey, have you got any 15-inch shin pads?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He said, "One of my players forgot his shin pads." So you have always got to help each other out, because you can't be perfect the whole time. You're human at the end of the day.
Well, and there is that hockey part of that, is that instead of saying to the other team, no, we don't have shin pads for you. We want to play your lineup. We don't want a guy to sit out because he doesn't have shin pads. Like let's play a game and let's go to battle, right?
Yeah, for sure. Let's make it. There's times where the other team might come to you and ask for something, and you're like, yeah, but I've only got this. And you know full well you've got every size and every model of it in the cupboard, but you know they don't want this certain model because it's 4 years old and it's cruddy. And you just go, yeah, but I've only got this. Because then you're not the asshole that's saying no, but you're not giving them exactly what they want. So you're making life a little difficult.
It'd be like if the goat forgot his sticks. They'd give you a left-handed stick, but not a curve that's very good.
Yeah, not a P92 2N Pro as Joey Martin uses in 77 Flex.
Okay, what did I use?
You used the P106. I think it was a 102 Flex, and I know it was right-handed, and it was an APX 1.
Okay, well, if you got any left over, let me know because I don't have any to coach my Phase 3 U9 Team 2 Cardiff Canucks.
I have not seen your curve in 5-6 years.
I know they stopped making it right when I retired. I guess they only made it during my career because, like, literally the year I was done, it was over.
It's crazy trying to get sticks now. They make a P92, a P28, and a P18. That's it. That's all you can get.
And they're like what? Crosby, Ovechkin, and whoever the other guy is. Like, there's nothing else. McDavid.
Faves. That's it. Yeah, and that's it. You're just like, oh, so I get older guys come to the team who are 30 plus, and they're like, hey, yeah, so I need a Lidstrom or I need a Drury. I'm like, all right, that's custom order. So it's insane.
But and then that gets it way more expensive to order. So they figured out a way to make sticks more expensive for the pro guys.
For sure.
Gotcha.
Sure. It just cranks it up. And it's just crazy. Like skates these days. Skates are what, $800 a pair. There's a new helmet coming out from Bauer. That's going to be $300 for a helmet. And I'm just like, wow, it's insane. The average stick over here in Austria, if you go into a store, you're looking at 250 euros for a top end stick. And I'm like, what? When I was a kid, we used Sherwood or we used Branches or Titan. Yeah, Titan. And a stick was $35 and you went through 3 of them a year.
It's totally crazy, the price of equipment, and then they wonder why there's not more kids playing hockey, and they wonder in the UK, they wonder in Canada, and well, this is the price you're making stuff. And then to be elite, you really do need the best sticks nowadays because those sticks can shoot completely different than the rest.
Yeah, they do half the work for you.
Well, this is a story. This is my tale of this episode is for the Hellbronner Falcons. They sign a really good team of players, and then they told us they would not buy us the good sticks. They would only buy us the lowest end quality of sticks. They'd give us our curves, but they would not get us the best quality ones. I had always been able to shoot it where I wanted it. That season, I could not. I didn't know where it was going. It could go anywhere when I shot it. And then I had some random fan come up to me with like 10 games left in the season. And he says to me, I hear you can't get the good sticks here. And I said, yeah, that's right. Like, I've been having a hard time, but it is what it is here. And I'm not going to pay for my own sticks. I'm a professional hockey player. And he says, well, I'll buy them for you. This fan in Hellbronn bought me about 6 brand new top of the line Bauer sticks in Germany. And I went on a run the last 10 games, and it probably saved my career. So if that guy in Hellbronn ever listens to this episode, thank you very much, sir.
We'll drink a beer to that guy. Those guys are the comeback.
I totally forgot about that whole story until we started talking about sticks.
That guy's saved your career. And what a career that was on one leg.
Well, and then like for Hellbronn, like you sign a good team and you invest in all that money into having good skilled players, and then you don't give them the tool to go to work. Come on.
Yeah, that's dumb. Like
I,
here, I
I,
guys
oh,
come in. I have so many guys come in here, and we're a Bauer team, and they say, "Hey, so I've used CCM sticks my whole life, and I have to have the CCM P92, which is a slightly bit different." I'm like, "No problem." So I make them a custom stick with CCM curve, but in a Bauer stick. And if I gave them a Bauer curve, they'd be like, "No, you can't use it." So you just have to make it work and give the, like you say, give the guys the tools they need.
well, so here's my other stick story since I got an equipment manager on. Is my whole life I'm trying to make it to the NHL. I'm using Bauer sticks my whole life through junior B, Western Michigan. They give me the top of the line, best Bauer sticks you could get. I then sign a kind of a deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets that if I go there at the end of my senior year and if I play well, they got first crack of signing me July 1st. Will I get there with my 6 Bauer sticks? And they say, well, you can't use those in this league. And I say, pardon me, I've only used Bauer sticks in my life, and I've only used the P106 as you described. And they said, well, on this team, only I think it was 3 or 5 players get to use whatever stick they want. You are not one of those players, so you can't use those sticks. And I said, well, what am I like? I just came here for the biggest tryout of my life. And they said, you have to go downstairs to the stick room, and there's like 5 right-handed guys on the team. One of those guys, that's your new stick. And I tell you, I couldn't pass, I couldn't shoot, I couldn't do anything. And this is the biggest tryout of my life, and you can't even use your own stick.
Yeah, you're like, oh, put me behind the 8 ball. That's fantastic.
Well, like the AHL, you're a step away from the NHL, and you can't use
Yeah.
your own stick. Are you? What is this? Are you kidding me?
Wouldn't they just let you spray paint it?
I wasn't into spray painting myself or my stick at that point, but no, you had to use CCM or Reebok.
Yeah, that's it. Like here, like I say, we're allowed 3 guys who don't use Bauer, but there's always one guy. You pick up a guy mid-season, and he turns up with his 10 CCM sticks, and I'm like, oh, all right, buddy. So I'm gonna have to spray paint your sticks, and then we're gonna have to reapply some grip tack to it. Are you okay with that? And he's like, well, can I not just use my sticks? No. So, but we spray paint them and we put some more sticky stuff on them, and they're fine. And no one knows we're using CCM sticks on a Bauer team.
Well,
So,
hey, who knows? Maybe since I still don't have a sponsor, maybe Bauer will sponsor us someday, because I would say their sticks are 1,000 times better than CCM or Reebok. Because what I did that year I went to the AHL was I sent CCM Reebok my Bauer stick,
that's it.
and I said,
That's
please make this. They made it in a Reebok one piece, and every time the puck hit the blade, it snapped in half every single time. So I couldn't use the sticks. I have one left in my garage, and if a puck hits it, it'll break. But I had to have proof that my name was on my sticks one year.
You were there. You were there. Well, you could phone ex-Cardiff Devils alumni Tyson Toplitsky, who's actually the director of sticks for Bauer, and he played in the Devils. So you could get in there.
Well, I'm telling you, maybe they want to sponsor because their sticks are the best. No free ads, but CCM sticks suck. So there you go. I'm not. I don't want you as a sponsor, anyways, CCM, because your sticks suck. So here we go. Good thing Gratz is Bauer team, or else I wouldn't be able to cheer for them. Okay, so other than that, which I don't know how we got so into sticks, because the part of being a kit guy, as you'd call it in the UK, or an equipment manager, as you'd call it in North America, is I wanted to talk about the crazy hours that you've put in before. Cause like I've seen you do it, and I've seen other equipment managers do it. I've seen you do it pretty heavy. Like you guys do some pretty bizarre stuff through the nights, and then just completely crash after like a 48-hour shift, right?
Yeah, it's there'd be times where let's think the time we won that Challenge Cup is the prime time. So if you remember, we played on the Saturday at home, and then we had to go. Sunday was the Challenge Cup final. So you guys left straight after the game at home, and got a bus up to Sheffield, stayed in a hotel, so you were rested all day, yada yada. Obviously, for me, my day started at probably, we used to have a pre-game meeting on home games at 10 a.m.
Well,
so
we didn't stay in Sheffield. We stayed we only made it like halfway because we had a game the night before, right?
Yeah. And you left straight after the game.
Right, but we didn't even make it all the way to Sheffield because they want us to sleep, right? And you had been up the morning before to get ready for that night, right?
Yeah, that's it. So I'd been at the rinks from probably 9 a.m. getting everything ready for that game, and then game finished. Well, it's a Saturday, so it would have been a 7 face-off. Game would have finished 9:30. You guys would have left at 10:30. And then I had to wash everything, dry everything, sharpen all the skates ready for the game tomorrow, pack everything, load the van, and pile it all in the van. And I think Todd came around 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. Todd drove the van up for me up to Sheffield. So the idea was I was supposed to sleep while Todd drove. But I drank so much coffee and Red Bull that I was super wired out in my face. So I didn't sleep the whole night, didn't sleep. I obviously mixed in a few beers, packed up the whole dressing room, the rugs. I don't know if you remember the rugs and everything. We basically took everything but the toilet with us from the room, got to Sheffield, unpacked the van, unpacked everyone's equipment. I'd had stickers made, huge stickers that we covered all the Sheffield logos with in the dressing rooms and stuff. And in the middle of the floor, we put a huge Devils logo and set everything up. And I think I got an hour's sleep on the dressing room floor before the game. And then Todd came in to wake me up to say, okay, guys are here in 20 minutes. And I still have no idea what happened in the first period because I was waiting for the coffee and Red Bull to kick back in. And obviously we went out and it went sideways real fast. We won 2-1 game. Who scored in that? Hendo scored from the blue. I think Cully maybe tipped it.
Cully scored. Cully scored. I don't remember
Hendo
who scored
shot it. Cully tipped it. I forget who else scored. And
Lordo.
Oh, of course, Lordo scored. Big game. Lordo was always good for a big gamer. Bit of a shirt tug.
Yeah, he's probably scored on the first power play because he was the coach and got to decide who's on the first power play. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was probably first power play. Maybe he was on first penalty kill too. I don't know.
He was. Yep.
No, really, you don't say. He might have been on the starting lineup or two as well. So
yeah, that's right. Yep. No, I remember. Okay. So
just want to tell all the listeners about. Then we went back to that hotel and Wally redecorated the hotel.
We don't need to talk about that on here. We don't need. No.
Redecorated real nice, didn't you, Wally?
I think there was a lot of issues that night with the team, but we had a lot of fun, and you only win so many championships in your career, and you have to celebrate every one like it's the Stanley Cup, right? And you have to, because you only win so many times in your life. And the times I hear like we shouldn't have partied like we did because we lost a game like on the Wednesday, like I don't know. I actually felt like
that field again on the Wednesday,
and we lost 11-1. Yes, but we had 70 other games that year to win it at one more game. Like when you win a championship, I personally think you only get to do that. Some people do it never. Some people get to do it a bunch of times. But when you win a championship, like you got to stop time and say, hey, we're doing this tonight. All of us together. We all did this. This is a thing.
Celebrate your boys.
Yeah, and we did.
Yes, we did. I remember being stood in a cold tub with Pigsy pouring champagne or beer over my head in a cold tub. And,
why were you in the cold tub? You're the equipment manager.
I think I was trying to sober up and wake up. That was probably what I was doing.
Oh, wake up because you'd been up for 2
Yeah,
days.
for 2 days straight, and I didn't have a clue what day it was anymore.
I do say though that that is one thing that Todd did that year when we were first getting together in Cardiff to help us win a championship. Like yourself and him both knew what you guys needed to do to make this feel like how big of a game this really is, how important it is. And for him, for the managing director or GM or whatever he is, to drive with the equipment manager after a Saturday night game at 5 a.m. to drive up to Sheffield to help you out, to help us out. Like that is how it all started in Cardiff, right? Like that's how we started winning, was everybody was in it from the top down.
Everyone was in it, everyone was on the same page. We were just a unit. Everyone was pulling in the same direction. That we didn't have anyone, dragging the rope, so to speak. And that's the hands down the best team I've ever been on.
Yeah, you'll never see another one. It's like Dougie and I said how weird it was. Like when you look back on it now, how weird it was that like it didn't matter if it was the equipment manager to the GM to the coach to every wife player. We were all just hanging out together and we were all together all the time and everybody wanted to be together. There was no cliques. There was nothing. It was just hanging out and it was weird.
It was so weird. It was everyone got on with everyone. Everyone's wife got on with everyone. There was no sideshows, no politics. No one had an axe to grind. We all went for lunch. We all went for dinner, and it was just crazy.
Yeah. You don't get stuff like that back, which is, I mean, like realistically, I started a podcast and I've had on quite a few Devils and I still want to have on a bunch more because like I can't talk about that year enough. And it was a very bizarre time. But next question. How many all-nighters do you think you've done being an equipment manager?
A lot, a hell of a lot. I mean, the one that really stands out to me was when we played Braehead or Glasgow as they're known now. We played them on a Saturday and then we played home on the Sunday. And I drove up, we practiced Friday morning, at the usual time, what, 11 do we used to skate? Was it 11 or 10:15?
Yeah, it was the morning.
Then, yeah, so I remember throwing stuff straight in the van, soaking wet from practice. No, actually, we did laundry. We did laundry first, and then threw it in the van. And the guy who was supposed to drive with me couldn't come, so I ended up going on my own, and I drove all the way to Scotland, and then set the room up in the morning. We had pregame skates, so I set the whole room up while you guys flew up, and then we played the game. Guys reloaded the van with me, and I drove straight back, unpacked. I think I got home at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. May have broken a few speed limits on the way. I remember going through 2 tanks of gas in the van because the foot may have been on the floor and the needle was tipping way past 100. Downhill, tailwind, van went pretty fast. And yeah, we played. I can't remember who we played on the Sunday, but I unpacked all the gear, dried it, washed it, reset everything. Then we played the game, and then I passed out. I don't remember the Sunday evening or the Monday.
Well,
probably just had 2 beers and died.
I guess this is part of what this podcast is about, is giving people, like Foz said, their pad tap. Is like when I played at Western Michigan University, we would carry our own bags into places and unpack them usually, where the big schools, the equipment managers would do it all. It's kind of like the NHL where there's probably a few equipment managers doing a bunch of different jobs, where in the UK, there was just you and you were doing it all. And I would have to say, man, like guys like me and guys like the rest of the minor pro hockey players out there truly I think there's a lot of pro hockey players that don't appreciate the equipment guys, but I certainly do. And when you look back on your careers, minor pro guys, you should probably recognize your local equipment managers because you guys do way more than anybody gives you credit for.
It's I don't think anyone, and it's the little things that equipment guys do that no one has any idea we do. Like, we'll look at your skates and we'll notice you got a rivet or two loose, and it's not as if you come in the next day and we go, hey, I fixed the rivet for you. It's just done. You don't even know it's done. And just little things like that, and just especially in the UK, the equipment guys like bust their balls because it's just, there's not a big budget. There's not 3 or 4 of you like there is in the AHL, NHL. It is crazy, but it's a job. It's a lifestyle choice. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. There's certain people that are into it. Okay, here we go. We're off. We're getting back into it here. I want to hear the story of the time Hendo and Carl became goalies.
The pre-Christmas drinking. We just done Secret Santa. That was it. So we just done Secret Santa. We were there for a while, drinking a few beers.
Well, we had practice, and then yeah.
So we did practice. We did Secret Santa, and then everyone disappeared. Urge was in the other dressing room,
which is the massage guy, listeners.
Yeah.
That's the massage guy that fixed my knee and got me one more contract. So thank you, Urge.
Yep. Sausage fingers, Urge.
That guy can break anybody's bones. He's those hands are soft, but the most masculine hands that have ever been on my body. And they got me another contract fixing my knee until it really popped.
Absolute beauty. So Urge was working on Lordo, and there's me, Hendo, and Huddy still in the room. And safe to say, we polished off quite a few beers. And so Huddy and Hendo dressed up in the goalie equipment, and we're running into each other in the dressing room and pinballing around and seeing if you could hurt each other wearing the equipment. And then I think it was Hendo said, I know, let's go see Lordo. And so I was like, yeah. So we trudge into the massage room, and Lordo looks up from the table he's being worked on. And I don't know what happened, but he lost his mind.
Well, two of his defensemen are dressed as goalies, drunk on like after a morning practice, right?
Yeah, we didn't have a game for like 3 or 4 days though, because it was Christmas time. So
yeah, so that it's okay, right? I think it's okay. That's hockey, baby.
But he went full Lordo, the head span round, he vomited everywhere, and he levitated to the ceiling. And he shouted and screamed, and there was me, Huddy, and Hendo just looking at each other like, we thought it was funny. And Urge stood there with his mouth open, and it was just insane. And I remember Lordo telling the boys to take the equipment off and get out, a few more expletives than that. And we left, and I'm pretty sure we went to like the oyster catcher or somewhere and just carried on drinking for the rest of the afternoon. We're like, yeah, screw that guy. Just sat there and got buckled.
Man, that was back. Like hockey was so different. Like Bouncy was telling me they don't even get beers after all the games in the UK anymore. And like, crazy. Yeah, you're saying, well, if you had a 4-point weekend or whatever, but like they're just at hockey everywhere has gotten so serious. And it's like, well, like, do people not realize like you're not making that much money in the UK? Like, why are you taking it so seriously? Yeah. Right?
Why do you think I'm in the UK?
Yeah, you're not making millions. You may as well enjoy it there, folks.
Yeah. Exactly. You got to have fun while it's there. So, and it's like here, we're sponsored by a brewery. Not going to give you an ad there, brewery, but we're sponsored by a brewery. So after every game here, well, actually before every game, because I told them I needed to put in the fridge, and I've got my own fridge in my room, I get a 6-pack of these big beers. I'll show you the back end. See, there's some big beers.
I know the German beers. That's Austrian, but yeah, I get it. Yeah. Puntiga.
And it's a 5.1%er, so I get a 6-pack before every game. That's the deal I did with the office. I was like, hey,
You get a 6-pack of beer for every game.
Yeah, that's just me. And then, sometimes if we win,
Are they looking to sponsor an English podcast?
I don't know, Wally. You're Canadian, not English.
I meant like the language there, donkey.
The language. The language.
Well, I'm still not getting free beer for this, and it's getting a bit expensive. So we're gonna need to find a sponsor here eventually.
So I have to make some calls, Wally.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Gonna have to.
But yeah, like that's the good thing here. I said to the coach, I was like, hey, win or lose, these gets a beer, and that's the deal I've got here.
That's quite the deal, man.
Fantastic deal.
How did we get onto that?
The no fun in the UK anymore deal, right? Because Lotto didn't let us drink or eat greasy food.
I remember the first year we got to eat a couple kebabs, right? Donair kebabs.
Oh, Donair kebabs.
Yeah,
I remember we were in where were we? Glasgow or Braehead, and they hadn't sorted out food after the game. So Lotto said, "Okay, here's $10," and he gave everyone $10, and everyone went off and they got like Nando's and different things. And me and you got back on the bus with a king-size kebab and a beer or two. And Lotto, we just sat by Lotto, and the whole bus stunk because of our food. And Lotto's looking at us going, "What are you two idiots doing?" When I said go get food, I meant go get something semi-healthy with some protein in it. We're like, yeah. He was going bananas.
I still love that stuff, man. When I was in Germany, there was every town had a place on the corner where they were shaving the meat off the stick, man. And, they were making the bread like completely fresh, rolling out with the dough, rolling it out. It was living, man. That was living.
There's two right outside my apartment here. I got a choice.
How much better is it there than in the UK? Is it not way better?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, don't talk dirty to me anymore. Yeah. This is a podcast and I don't need you talking dirty to me about kebabs. So we got to move on. We talked the goalie thing. So now it's time for your favorite. Listen, this is what we're going to do. I got to pee. So you're going to have to tell your favorite pregame speech story while I go pee. And then I'm going to guess which one it was. And then I'll tell mine.
Okay.
Go.
Headphones are off for everyone. Wally's gone. My favorite pregame story, we were in Sheffield, pretty big game. And I forget what I was Steeler Dan. I came in the dressing room pretending to be Steeler Dan. And the guys are just laughing at me and they're like, what is he doing now? And then all of a sudden, Wally came in and he had the Thor hammer, which we previously mentioned. And he literally beat the life out of me with this goddamn Thor hammer. And he hammered me, and I was naked. He hammered me on the ass with this Thor hammer so hard it split the skin. And I've still got a scar to this day. Oh, here he is. He's back. Go, Wally.
Wait, was it Steeler Dan? I just heard I still have a scar till this day. Was it?
Yeah.
Were you done this story already?
Yeah, where you hammered me with it was the Thor hammer, right?
Yeah, I remember. I hit you so hard. I still have the video on my phone. And I hit you so hard with that hammer, like I could see your butt cheek jiggle, like your whole back and everything jiggled.
Oh,
but like I've never seen a hockey team more pumped up than that moment. Have you?
No, we won. I remember we won. And I remember limping out to the bus after the game because you got the side of my ass. I had a whole dead leg. I'm like, oh my God. I had to sleep on my side that night. Everything. It was so bad.
All right. Okay. Here's my favorite one. Okay. So that was my first time going on the road. And that was really what shocked the guys, was because that was the first time was the Steeler Dan one.
We're talking Manchester here then.
That's correct. So It's the last weekend of the season. The Cardiff Devils have to win both games, and we need help. We need the Steelers to lose a game or something. So the first game of the weekend, we're going to Manchester, and I say, honey, I gotta go. Like, the team needs me. This is like my last weekend of being a hockey player other than playoff weekend. And I gotta go. I gotta go help the team. So I get on the fan bus again, and I go hang out with the creepy stalker neighbor and all the guys on the bus. And yeah, and we have beers all the way to Manchester, and then we get there too early. And I have an axe, a sword, and a shield in my bag, and I have nothing else. That's all I have.
You're a Viking.
Yeah. So that's when the fans are like, they start catching on, like, why I'm coming, that I'm doing speeches and I'm bringing a bag of something and I got to leave during warm up. So they start asking what's in the bag. I'm like, I can't tell you. But then I think I told the creepy stalker neighbor, because he's my buddy. And I was like, well, I'm going to be a Viking tonight. So then we stop in Manchester, and the guy helping park the bus is wearing a Viking hat, like a tube.
Oh, that dude, he's a good guy.
Oh man, and it's got the braids coming down and everything. And I said to him, I'm doing a pregame speech tonight, and I'm being a Viking, and I was really hoping I could borrow your hat tonight. And he said, hockey family, man. And he gave it to me. He said, just give it back when you're done your thing. Well, we were there early that night. I have to hide from all the players while they're warming up and getting ready for the game. And I'm in the bar with all the fans, and we're taking pictures and having a hoot. And I'm dressed. I got the Viking hat on.
For a sneaky beer. I'd set the bench up, and as I'm walking past the bar, someone's banging the window. So I was like, oh, I'll come in for a beer. And I had a beer, and Lord, okay, it was like, where have you been? Nowhere.
Well, so then when the guys go out for warm up, we sneak me in the back door, but this is the part I really remember. This is where I really realized my life had gone off track, and I needed to get back to Canada, and that this was it. The pregame speaking was over. We couldn't do it anymore. Was when I was dressed like a Viking. I have my axe, my sword, and my shield that were kids' toys from Toys R Us. And I got the guy's hat. And then you said, Wally, if you want to be a Viking, and if this is the last weekend of the year, we got to make it more authentic. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you did?
Went outside, and we picked mud up from the car park or the sidewalk, and we covered you in mud and shit, and God knows what else was there.
So yeah, you covered me in dirt to make it more authentic, to make me look more like a Viking. And then the glass breaks during warm up. I go,
guy throws the goddamn pucks for warm up. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, so the glass breaks in warm up, and then I'm sitting there in that toilet, the only one in the room, covered in dirt, naked, with a sword, a shield, and an axe.
And drunk.
So yeah, then I sat there for at least an hour, right? And then they were yelling, like, if he's in there, I gotta piss. But then I finally do the speech. I come out, break the axe. I get in Richie's face like I usually do and call him a quiet psycho. Yeah. And then they go out and win the game, and I go back up to the stands with the fans. And I still remember that we're standing up there, we're cheering, we're clapping. And then it's like, well, tomorrow's the last game of the season. Like, that's it. And my plan was to go up with the fans and come back with the team, because I was part of the team. So then they win the game, and it's like time to leave. And then I said to Franny or you, I was like, well, why am I going to go on the team bus? Like, you guys have to play tomorrow. I don't have to play tomorrow. And why? Like, so then I went back on the fan bus, and we had a hoot until, like, you get too tired eventually.
Just crash and burn.
Oh man, what a time though. That's my favorite time though. Well, not favorite, but most memorable, that when I covered myself in dirt. And that's when I realized hockey was really over. It was time to move on. Right?
When he was like, so how was your trip? Well,
Well, Dease was rubbing his dirty mitts all over me.
oh boy.
Okay.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous. Okay. So, anyways, if there's anybody out there in the world that has an equipment manager player relationship like this, please let us know because we're curious, right, Deese?
Very curious. I don't think anyone's got that relationship.
Oh, man. I missed you at Wally night, though. Could have used you. But Pigs filled in good as the substitute spray painter.
Good old Pigsy.
So my next questions are leaving Cardiff and going to Manchester and then to Graz.
So yeah, I left Cardiff. It just wasn't fun. That's all I'm going to say on that. We won the playoffs, we won the league, we won everything, but it just wasn't fun anymore. The fun had dried out, and I was pretty much goddamn exhausted. So Ryan Finity calls me from Manchester, and I end up going there for a season. And basically, their rink is the BBT Mark II. So I had a lot of fun there. It was crazy. And then I got a call from a guy who was in this league, who I knew, Jeff Maxwell, and he basically just gave me the heads up and said that Graz and Bolzano were looking for equipment guys. So I reached out. I said, "Do you know any details, anything?" And he was like, "Nope, I just know their equipment guys have quit on them." So he gave me that heads up, and I just sent an email here. And then things snowballed, and within a week, couple of days, really, I had a contract sent over from the GM, and here I am today, and I've got another year left on a contract. And for some reason, they gave me a 2-year extension after the first year, and yeah, they like me. I don't know why, no idea.
Well, I can totally see why. I still remember the phone call. I was sitting there having dinner with the kids, and I had given you, though, when you were leaving Cardiff, I gave you a reference. I think I wrote you a letter, right?
Yeah, it was you, Richie, and Strax were my references.
Okay, so I wrote you a letter, and then you went to you got the job in Manchester, and then I'm sitting there eating dinner with the kids, and I get a call from Ontario, and the guy, I answer it. I'm like, "Hello," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the head coach of the Graz 99ers, and I'm here looking for a reference for," and I'm thinking like the GOAT, the usual suspects, Fournier, whoever, and he says David Owen, and I said, "Dease."
You're like, "Who's that guy?"
And so then he was calling me for a reference for you, and it was the second, like the next year after you went to Manchester. I'm like, well, why am I getting this again? But man, it's incredible how it's worked out for you. But I told him exactly what I thought. I said, it depends what you want your room to be. Do you want your room to be fun? Do you want your room to chirp each other? Do you want your room to like enjoy coming to the rink, or do you want it to be like most pro teams now? Do you want them to be robots? Do you want them to, just be pros all the time and there's no personality? I'm like, Dease is option A. Right?
I do not fit into the robot mold.
Neither do I.
So I can't do robot. So yeah, that is exactly it. I got here and guys are like, "Oh my God, just so different to the last guy we had. We're actually having fun, and we can come in your room and chirp you, and you can chirp us." And I'm like, "I don't care.
As long as you don't get too powerful, okay? Because those equipment, you better not take it to your head now that you got that fancy office we can see in the background.
Bobby Big Wheel.
Is that who you better not act like that around the boys now?
Nope. Open door policy.
Yeah, because in my opinion, you're the best equipment manager I ever had. I never had to ask for anything. You would always be coming to me saying, "Wally, I really think you need like an extra stick or two, or you need this, or you need that, because I never really cared and I was just playing.
No,
I
your stuff
didn't,
was
right?
falling apart. Your stuff was disgustingly falling apart. I was like, yeah, Wally, I'm going to give you a new stick. You're like, no, this one's good. I'm like, Wally, it's got a bit crack in it. Yeah, but yeah, you were one of my super low maintenance guys. Unlike Richie, who's super high maintenance, always wanted something, that guy.
Richie?
No,
I was gonna
Richie
say
didn't, Richie didn't ask for anything ever.
no. I could see that. Yeah.
Although
Um,
there was Lordo, who I had to do everything for.
okay. You got anything else before we shut her down here? All I gotta say is I'm happy I put my name behind you and you're doing well over there. When they called me and I didn't know what had happened in Manchester, and all of a sudden I'm like, why is another team calling me? Like we just got there. But like, then when I figure out it's Graz and I'm like, this is a, like, where do you think you could take this? Like, are we happy in Austria, or do you think we're head to North America and you want to grind it out and play 80 games a year?
Well, I absolutely love it here. Like I, I couldn't say enough good things about Graz and the way I'm treated here. Um, they treat me like a king. They really do. And they treat my girlfriend Gwenna like a king, not a king, a queen. Sorry, they treat her like a queen too. So I'm really included in everything. But uh, North America doesn't really appeal to me. What with the travel situation and everything. Last year, I spoke to a team in the KHL. They called me, and once they said they go on 3 to 4 week road trips, I was like, hey, the money was good, but I don't feel like I was ready for that. But no, I'll stay here forever and a day so long as they want me. But just see where the road takes me, I guess. Um, the good thing is I don't age out. Obviously as players, you guys, you age out and you have to go to the real world, or you have to become a coach, or the odd few like me become the equipment guy. But I don't know. Switzerland is really high on my list of places to go. I know a few guys who played in NLA. So that we'll just see. We'll see it. You know me, Wally. I just each day as it comes. Nothing really bothers me. I just float along, little social butterfly. Have a beer, have a whiskey, see where we go.
Hey, I think it's great, man. I'm proud of you because you were the best equip manager I had. Everything I ever needed was there every time, on time. Like I wasn't like I remember when we'd show up in Scotland after playing like a Friday night in Cardiff or Saturday night in Cardiff. We drive all the way up to Scotland, like 10 hours for a game. And you've beat us there, and our equipment's all ready and laid out for us. So I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, I'll play in wet gear so you don't have to do that, man.
Wow, it's just what it is. It's the difference is because I played. I always approach it as what would I want, and that's what I'd want. And I just think that if I can give you guys the edge and make your life a little, I just want you guys to be able to turn up and play hockey. You don't have to think, oh shit, I forgot to get my skate sharpened and so on and so forth. And I just like to get it done. And then I sit in my office, put my feet on my desk and play on the internet, have a coffee, whatever. It used to be have a chew, but I'm 2 years clean of chewing. So I do miss it. But that's all it is. It's just working hard. And I got to say, I really appreciate you as a person and being my buddy for all these years. We're always in contact. And B, that the reference you gave me and saying that I'm the best you ever worked with. I mean, that's a lie, but I do appreciate it.
It's not a lie, man. Well, other than some of your spray painting would maybe missed a few of the spots, but
Wow, you should have lifted up and gone to the left a bit, and I would have picked them all up then.
no, I'll actually never forget the text message you sent me right after the pigs episode. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I sent you. Was that where I sent you the picture? And I was like, here's the picture.
No, no,
What
no.
did I send you?
You texted me that your favorite 2 years of your life was when I was in Cardiff.
Sure, for sure.
Seriously, you said that. You texted me and said, I love listening to the podcast. Just to let you know, you're like, was that real? Or were you just
Oh,
drinking
sure.
that day? Were you drinking?
No, well, I'm drinking most days, but it was no for sure. They were the best 2 years of my life. The fun we had with me, you, Hendo, Huddy, Hoff just chirping. Like I miss Hoff. He's a pain in the ass and he's a grumpy bastard, but I do miss Hoff.
Yeah.
Uh, and then just trying to get a rise out of Richie, Bouncy with his flatulent issues. So yeah, we like you couldn't have put a funnier team together, a greater group of guys, and that 2 years it was just chaos.
It was chaos, absolute chaos.
It was just the gong show from start to finish, but for some reason it worked, and we won. We had great fun, and we got memories for life, and we got friends for life. Like I still speak to Cully, I still speak to a lot of the guys on there, so it's crazy. We have a lot of fun.
No, you're right. Like the lifelong friendships that team made. There's no other team like it, really. Um, I would just say that like of all the leagues or the leagues I played in, like the Austrian league, it seems like it's one of the top leagues in the world. And realistically, you have one of the best jobs in equipment managing in the world.
Sure.
There's the NHL. There's I would not want to be in the AHL if I was you, but there's the Swiss league. There's not many jobs above yours in your line of work. And I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks, buddy. And I really appreciate, like I said, I really appreciate your help in getting here.
Well,
You
I just
partner.
told them the truth, dude. Did you know that? I just told them the truth. I said if you want them to be robots, get a different guy. I'm like, but if you want guys to like be engaged and like be chirping and back and forth and you want a fun locker room and but I said like at the end of the day, everything's done. Like every time I ever showed up to the rink, it was done. I never showed up to the rink and it was like, where are my socks? Where are my shorts? It was like, hey, Wally, did you realize this was over here and that was over here and it should have been here? And I was like, dude, I don't know where my stuff is. Right?
There was I was like a swan, you know. I
I don't
looked
know if you've
over,
ever been a swan, dude. That's
yeah,
that's not right.
I was a beautiful creature. I was on top of the water, gliding along, looking all chilled out. Underneath, I'm paddling like crazy, going, oh shit, they're gonna be here any minute. So there was a lot of scrambling, last minute scrambling, but I made it look like I did it hours ago and I was all relaxed.
Well, and that was your first year though, and I'm sure you've learned a lot since then because like everything you're doing, you learn as you go and you keep getting better and better at it, right?
Yeah, so much. Like now, like nothing bothers me anymore. I'm normally sat here waiting for the problem to kick me in the balls rather than those first 2 years. The problems kick me in the balls every 5 minutes. I'm like, wait a second, I'm juggling this problem. You'll have to hold your problem. It's not so important. So yeah, it was crazy, but it built me to who I am today.
No, man, I like I said, I'm really proud of you and I'm glad everything's going good and it's been awesome catching up, man. Like it really has. Like cheers. You're the first equipment manager on the podcast. We've had the first NHL player, we've had the first equipment manager, and I guess right before your episode will be my grandma.
That's awesome. And we had Pigsy, who's the first doctor.
Right, and we've had the first doctor. I guess I never cheersed him because I was so nervous I couldn't even talk.
It's a good episode. I liked it.
I don't know, man. It's like still the most listened to one, and I was like so nervous and getting choked up. I don't even know what I said. I can't even listen to it now. I don't think I can listen to any of them anymore.
You can. You'll be fine, buddy.
No, I just miss you guys, and it's so much fun, man. Like you just made my day. Like me and you catching up. It's been since when was like you weren't at Wally night, so I haven't seen you
I
since
need to
you
be
dropped us
careful.
off at the airport.
Yeah, that's it. I dropped me and Hendo dropped you off in the van, and then
I thought it
we
was you
went.
and Pigs.
No, it was me and Hendo. I'm sure it was me and Hendo. We dropped you off at the airport. Maybe it was Pigs actually. Yeah, we dropped you off at the airport, had a big hug, and it was the big sayonara. What was that? 2014, 15 season?
16. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
after the year of you spray painting me and just acting a fool of ourselves, but trying to win a championship and doing the best we could to help win, right? That was the big sayonara. Was you guys drove us to the airport and we all kind of got out of the van and it was like looking at each other like, well, I guess this is it, eh?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
huh? And then I got 2 kids, a wife, and I'm head back to Canada to the real world. And it's like, this has been my life for a
Off the
decade.
commitment.
And here we go.
Yeah. And then then it nosedived.
Well, it's all good, man. It was a struggle there for at least a year, but it's all good, man. We're all good here, and I'm glad to see you're all good over there.
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. Luckily I got my pretty girlfriend that keeps me in check. I'll be honest, without her, I'll be lost because whenever we fly here or we go anywhere, she's got this huge folder with like everything she's printed out and organized. Whereas me, I just roll up with a passport and be like, "Hey, so I'm here again." But she's awesome. She keeps me in check.
Do you wear your teeth for her at least?
Once a week, once a week. But uh, she actually likes me without my teeth.
Oh dear.
I know, I know. We had our eyes checked just before we came back out here, and they say they're fine. So I can't figure it out.
Me neither. It's okay. I understand.
I know.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You got anything else to say before I hit stop?
Um, nope, nope. Just I'm looking forward to the Bouncy interview after a year with me here. It's a shame he's not back here, but I won't miss him farting all day in my goddamn office. But no, just
No, you're right. That was on my notes too, was talking about Bouncy being with you in Graz. And his episode is done. And I've been sitting on it just because he needed to be a weekend episode. I wanted to build a little hype because of his tramp stamp and all that. Yeah, it's gorgeous. But he talks about all that. And yeah, no, I guess we never talked about it, but yeah, it's too bad he won't be back there. I was really proud of him for being there, and it's too bad he got hurt because no, I don't think anybody really got to see the real Bouncy, right?
no, unfortunately not. But he got here. That's what I say to him. I'm like, well, you got here. You got out. You're the Brit that played your way out of the elite league, so he can always be proud of that.
Oh man, and like for him not to play his way out of there, like you keep winning the championship every year, like being a goalie is about winning games. It's
Sure.
and that's what he does. Yeah. No, I hope he is abroad again next year, and I hope he gets to spread his wings and his tramp stamp.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right, we better shut it down after that. It's getting gross talking about that thing, isn't
Real
it?
gross. Real gross.
All right. Dease, it's been a slice, big fella.
A big slice, baby. I miss you.
Miss you too.